All right, we just want to take a step back a little bit and cover some basic marketing philosophy. Really, this is kind of what you're going to get from us in the decision making process, when you're looking at our marketing report or if we're doing some consulting for you. So keep in mind, everything we're discussing is for education and example purposes. Make sure you guys understand and know your own risk tolerance as we go through this information. The first question we always want to ask ourselves is, where is your risk? Okay. And so for any marketing decision that you make, you're going to have to decide where is your risk. And really, you're going to have to decide what's more important. Is it downside risk or the risk of missing out on some upside potential? The reason why we have to define this is it's going to narrow down what strategies we want to use. And then it's also going to set proper expectations, for whatever strategy we decide to use. Now, let us, kind of pose this question to you. But is it fair or reasonable to say that as a farmer, your main risk concern should be to the downside? So, in other words, we're always long a crop. If you sell a bit too early this year and prices go higher, you're going to have next year's crop to capture some of those gains. Whereas if you do nothing and prices break lower, not only is your current crop you're worth less, next year's crop becomes worth less as well. And what we believe is that really just takes you out of the driver's seat as far as making marketing decisions and good business decisions for your farm. So let's just take this real simple approach. You really have two decisions when it comes to grain marketing. You can either do nothing or you can sell ahead. And then obviously under that sell ahead approach, you can pick various strategies that you want to use. We're not really going to get into those today. What we want to do is just cover a basic, cash example, if you will. And so we'll start with that do nothing plan. We're going to use a producer that raises 50 bushel beans. And as you can see, we've got a couple tables here highlighting that in year one, you've got 3 futures prices. Same thing with year 2. So let's just, for example, say that if you at harvest you sell your beans at 9, you're going to have 9.50 on the new crop. You're going to average about 9.25. On the other hand, if at harvest you're at 11 and the next year's beans you're at 11.50, you're going to pull off about 11.25 as far as an average price. So you're really going to get both sides of the market, if you will, in this scenario. Now, on the other hand, let's just look at forward selling in the current crop year, and let's just say you average $10 on your first set of beans at harvest, and then the next year you just wait and take the harvest price at that time. Well, if beans go down to 9.50, you bring your average to 9.75. Beans go to 11.50, you've got your average at 10.75. And so here's really where this thing breaks down, the difference between the two plants. So do nothing, your 2-year average, you're going to have a lower end range of 462.5 or 925 futures price average, or 11.25 on the high side. Whereas if you forward sell, you'll notice your price floor comes up, but at the same time, your price ceiling is a little bit lower as well. And so when we sit here and look at this, you have a $25 an acre higher price floor by forward selling. However, you are giving up that $25 an acre on the higher side or the ceiling side by forward selling ahead as well. And so that's where we kind of pose the question, what scenario is better for your farming operation as a whole? If the markets break lower and the current crop year and the next crop year are both lower because you did nothing, how is your farming operations sitting? On the other hand, if you sell some at a good level and prices go higher, sure, you might miss out on the current crop year's highest prices, but you're capturing some of it in the next year, and overall your farm average is going up. Which scenario do you believe is better off for your farming operation? So for us, we just ultimately think that higher prices are really the good problem to have. We would rather make decisions at good values and profitable levels for our farm, knowing that if it's the wrong move and markets go higher, we're going to have more crop to sell. We're going to have another crop the next year to capture any of those gains. Right now, we're in a bit of a carry market. So what you're going to want to make sure you recognize and do as best you can to go out and capture that carry. All you need to do is look at beans, front month beans over the last year. We've been stuck in a trading range between, about 10 and 1080. And so what's happening is as those deferred months become the front, the price trades back down and takes the carry out of the market and basically keeps us in that trading range. Lastly, our whole motto and philosophy really is just sell when you want to, not when you have to. We want to keep these markets ahead of us and take advantage of good prices when they're available. Like we said, I think if we can get the mentality around that as a whole, your operation is better if prices are going higher despite some early sales, rather than giving up sales at valuable levels and then having the market come lower. That's much worse for your operation. And we're willing to give up a little bit of that top side in order to make sure we have a higher price floor. If you guys have any questions on this, you want to visit a little bit with us, feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We always enjoy making the content for you, and God bless.